I fell in love with the man who took my mother's life. My mother died on a Tuesday morning when a man ran a red light while texting and slammed into her car, instantly taking her life and changing everything. I was 19, home from college for the summer, and the last thing I said to her was a snide remark about my missing charger, which I found an hour later under my bed, too late to apologize. The man's name was Nathan Keller, and he didn't flee or lie. He stayed at the scene, called 911 himself, and sobbed into my mother's body even after the police tried to pull him away. He was with her when she took her last breath. He pled not guilty at first. I was furious about that. How could he try to deny what everyone knew he'd done? But my lawyer explained it was a procedural thing. I still made him a monster in my head. Every time we met with a lawyer and I heard his name, I felt like I was going to throw up. But I also couldn't get him out of my head. So one night I stayed up late and Googled him. Nathan. There was something so unsettling about finding proof that he'd been a regular person with a life before that day. He owned a bakery. He had nieces and nephews on his Instagram. He went to the same college I did, 6 years before. I thought seeing his pictures would make me hate him even more, but instead it humanized him. I started thinking about how many times I'd glanced at my phone while driving, and how any of those seconds could have ended in the same horrible outcome. The next day, I saw him in court for the first time. I steeled myself, expecting to be overcome with hate, but instead, what I felt was more complicated. Nathan was clearly a mess, sitting there crying quietly when our lawyer showed pictures from the crime scene. For reasons I didn't entirely understand, I started staying behind after hearings, watching him leave, sometimes following him out into the parking lot. I don't know why. I think I wanted to see some proof that all his grief was fake, and that he was actually a monster who didn't feel bad at all. But one day, I saw him get into his car and just start sobbing, hitting his steering wheel. And then he looked up and saw me. He got out of the car and asked me if I wanted to yell at him. He told me I could. He told me he wished someone would hit him with a car so he could stop waking up every morning feeling like he didn't deserve to breathe. And before I could think, I heard the words coming out of my mouth. Do you want to get coffee? Coffee turned into long walks near the reservoir where no one would recognize us, both of us trying to fill in the empty spaces in our lives. What started as tentative conversations turned into confessions. And by the time we kissed, I already knew I wouldn't be able to undo it. We were careful, or at least we thought we were. We never touched in public, used fake names on our phones, met outside of town, and told ourselves it was temporary, something we'd end when the trial ended. I sat in court every day, pretending that he was a stranger to me, when just hours before I'd been at his apartment with his hands on me. I really thought we were going to get away with it. But then my cousin spotted us together at a gas station, and that was it. My father didn't speak to me for weeks. My brother told me I was sick, that I was spitting on our mother's memory. Extended relatives weighed in with dramatic texts and passive-aggressive posts, and I became the subject of hushed conversations and outright shouting matches, depending on the day. I tried to end it, told Nathan we had to stop before we destroyed each other. But when I woke up the next morning and saw the empty space beside me, I knew I had already made my choice. I called my father and told him I wasn't asking for approval, and I sent him the letter Nathan had written to my mother's memory. A letter filled with pain and shame and no excuses, just a man begging the universe for a way to atone. My father blocked my number. The trial concluded with a guilty plea and a 5-year sentence, reduced for cooperation and the testimony he gave against a tech company's distracted driving cover-up, which none of us saw coming. I visited him every week. I waited. And when he got out, we moved away from the town where everyone knew our story and started a new one. Some people never forgave me, some never spoke to me again. But I did what I had to do, not because it was easy or romantic, but because love doesn't always arrive at the right time or in the right shape. It just arrives. And sometimes the hardest thing in the world is letting yourself accept it, especially if no one else